Recently, Aizawa, aka Razorhead, has come out from My Hero Ultra Rumble, and there's been a lot of talk about him. Is he good? Is he not good? And the one I want to talk about, should you main him? A few weeks back, I made a video talking about who you should main in Ultra Rumble, and with this new video being here, and a new character coming out, I want to look at this playstyle and really examine what you get, and ask the question, should you main Aizawa in My Hero Ultra Rumble? Aizawa is a technical character. The first one in the hero roster, forget about Ochako and the beta, which means you're probably not going to be using Toga or Dabi on your team, since you don't want to waste your buffs on technical characters, since that's only reload speed, and there are a few stronger buffs you're going to want for your team synergy. He does have the technical moveset to boot though, his main strengths being displacement and mobility, two very important things in this movement-heavy hero shooter. Although, he does have a big weakness. He is incredibly team-reliant. Similar to characters like Cementos and Suyu, if you need him to be around your team, he is going to be around your team, whether you like it or not. He needs to be there for him to shine, and that all starts with his Alpha Quirk. This move's his main shooting move while on the ground. It wraps up your opponent and drags them into you. Now, my last upload, I talked about how this was a good move just for Aizawa in combination with his Gamma Quirk, but I want to talk about how it's a good move for your team as well. If you're with your team, you can combo these into close range moves if you're able to coordinate with them, like Ibarra's Grapple or Todoroki's Ice Slide, for instance. This allows them to make up so you can easily pick off a character, but that's not all Aizawa can do. His Alpha Quirk in the air, he's able to grapple onto opponents or walls and kick them, dealing damage to the target and anybody in the way of the kick. This not only allows him to approach from the air, but also move around decently well. Not as well as someone like Suyu or Ochako, but still move around decently well. This Alpha has 3 shots, but with how the ankle moves, Aizawa has pretty poor movement. He kind of bounces off the ground and it doesn't really do too much. That is without his Beta Quirk. His Beta Quirk is a barrage of kicks that can be angled wherever you like. So, Deku's kick accepts multiple hits. This does let him have a straightforward attack and hit the enemy when the enemy wouldn't really expect it as much. However, once again, like Deku's kick, it's much more useful as a movement option. Either by changing directions while running away, by changing direction right after you use your Alpha Quirk to zip up to an area, or by launching off the ground so you can also zip up to an area and then launch again. This move has 2 shots no matter what level it's at, unlike the Alpha Quirk, which does increase to 5 after level 9. So basically at any point you are able to use your Alpha Quirk and then adjust your movement with the kick, which is how I'd recommend you moving to escape with Aizawa. However, it is also an impromptu combo option in a pinch for that Alpha Quirk on the ground, when Aizawa's Gamma Quirk is down. His Gamma is a barrage of cloths that trap the opponent inside and deal a lot of damage. It has a percentage meter like Ochako's car, so you can hold it for a small amount or a longer amount of time, letting it recharge while it has some percentage left. This is what allows Aizawa to fight a little bit by himself just in case he's alone, as you can ground Alpha an opponent and drag them into your Gamma Quirk. It hits in a decently wide area and hits multiple people, so if you're able to get the drop on your enemies, you can give your team a massive advantage in a fight coming ahead, especially since Aizawa doesn't normally deal too much damage in comparison to Strike or Rapid characters. This is also a good reason he is great at displacement, because when he's done with you, you may just be a few hits away from death, and you don't want Aizawa getting you to that point. That being said, it may not be enough. That's how this game is able to melt people's health bars with characters like Bakugo, Todoroki, or Deku. You really need something to really turn the tide on your opponent. Like, there's even text that makes hitting the scarf extremely hard to hit. If only there was a way so that Aizawa can stop you from shooting him, so that he's able to buy himself some time to make a plan. I guess he's called Eraserhead for a reason. His special action allows him to activate his quirk, Erasure. This stops an opponent's quirks who is in line of sight of him for up to 6 seconds. This includes their alpha quirk as well, meaning not only can Aizawa escape from a fight, if you're with a team, you can deal a ton of damage to your opponent. Go to hell on them with no fear of retaliation, because they can't even shoot their quirk right now. There are a few downsides to this quirk though. It is a fairly slow charging special action that is on a percentage meter like Mount Lady's special. And you do have to keep them in line of sight in order to actually shut down the quirks. If they leave your sight for a second, they are going to get their quirk back and they will kill you. So overwhelming Aizawa is something you could do even with this quirk in mind. You also have to make sure to communicate this with your team as to where you're going to use it so that they can take full advantage of it and pick off some big threats like Bakugo, Todoroki, or All Might, or something like that. However, for something like Solo Queue, you're probably not going to use this special very often. It's just much more difficult to coordinate with a Solo Queue team, and overall, I think that a teamed up team is definitely something that Aizawa takes a lot more advantage of than other characters. So what is my verdict? If you like support characters who are able to displace enemies and has some alright movement, then you should definitely want to main Aizawa. With mobility, decent damage at times, and the ability to shut down quirks, you can certainly make a fight easier in the right situation. But that's the thing, isn't it? He's situational and very team reliant. He's also heavily resource management based. And if you think these downsides will make him too hard to play, then this probably isn't the character for you. Thank you for listening. If you want to see the hype for this character that I had before he came out, you should listen to the last video that I had when they released the Twitter poll, and I was able to go ahead and react to them before anyone else. Trust me, I did before anybody else. Literally no one did before me. That's definitely true. Thank you all for watching. Please leave your opinions in the comments below. What do you think of Aizawa? And hopefully he could be pretty good. Do you think he's going to be good? Do you think he's just going to be kind of bad or mediocre? Leave them in the comments, and I will talk with y'all later.